I want you to imagine for just a moment that you're someone who doesn't struggle with one single thing. You're someone who never doubts that you can do something, be something, or have something, whatever it is that you want, which means you've never ever hesitated in your entire life. You've always taken the first action. You've always acted on whatever your gut told you you wanted to do. And you've never had one single regret about, well, anything. But if you're someone who struggles with any of these things, any of the things that I just spoke about, struggling with things like having to feel like you have to have it all perfectly figured out before you can take action, maybe even settling for a relationship, even when you're not being treated like the queen that you know you are, because you're not convinced in that relationship that you deserve better, then I bet that you're someone who wishes things were different. And I'm willing to bet that you know that I'm right. And you see, the reason why I know this is because I was you 10 years ago. Well, not all of you, but I was someone who allowed my crappy thinking, even though I was confident on the outside, but I was a very negative thinker. I was constantly worried, constantly full of anxiety, worrying about what was the next thing that was going to happen. You know, my crappy thinking was keeping me doing the same things that I'd always done. And you know what that gets you? It gets you the same things that you've always gotten. I thought about a long time ago making a career change, but then I doubted everything about that. Who was I to make a career change after I'd been teaching for 24 years? Well, what will people think of me? What will people say? You know, will I make a fool out of myself? Will they write it on the sky? Ha ha ha, look at Trey. She fell flat on her face. Would I fall flat on my face? I incessantly worried about that stuff, and nobody said those things. It was just my crappy thinking that was keeping me stuck in that thought spiral of negativity. And I can go on and on and on and on and on about how that one area of my life was affected. We hadn't even begun to discuss the other areas of my life that were affected. This spiral of negativity, this cycle, continued until I learned the framework that I use today with my clients of how to break free, to release, to untether myself from this vicious cycle, to reclaim my life, to reclaim my mind, and no longer be a victim shackled or hijacked by my thoughts. I've done the work to know what to do when these thoughts rear their ugly heads. I've done the work that it takes to make the shift out of the spiral, so I'm no longer spinning like a CD or a record player, for those of you old enough to know what that means. And through this work, I've learned how to turn my shitty thinking into the empowered thinking. For the first time in my life, I really feel like anything is possible.